write x equals negative 2y squared plus 8y plus 5 in standard form and sketch a graph. We need to get it into that HK and P format. The way we're going to do that is by, here's your hint, completing the square for the y's. So what are the 2 steps necessary to complete the square? Get the variables by themselves. Well, we're trying to complete it for the y's. So we're going to move that that negative 5 to the other side. Now what? Make sure the leading coefficient is a 1. What's our leading coefficient? Negative 2. It's not currently a 1. I'm going to show you a trick that we're going to need later on. It'll help us a little bit in this section. Instead of dividing both sides by negative 2, what we're going to do is factor out a negative 2. If I factor out a negative 2 from both terms on the on the right, what am I left with? Be careful. Y squared minus 4y. Okay. Let's complete the square. Take half of negative 4 is negative 2 squared. So I'm going to add 4 inside these parentheses to complete the square. What do I add to the other side? Negative 8. Why? Because if I distribute that negative 2 back through, that would really be a negative 8. So if you pull the number out, you have to account for it. We didn't have to do that before because we always made that coefficient a 1 and called it a day. But to get us ready for the next 2 sections, we're going to see this again. You have to account for that coefficient that was factored out. So on the left, we get a glorious and unfortunate x minus 13. You'll see why it's unfortunate in a second. Probably should do these problems on my own before I give them to you guys. Equals negative 2 times the quantity. What is y squared minus 4y plus 4? Y minus 2 quantity squared. Okay? For our purposes, we like the squared term to have a coefficient of a 1. So how do I get rid of that negative 2? We'll divide by both sides by negative 2. We won't sketch this guy's graph because if you realize h is 13, and that is way off the charts there. So the graph is like way over here somewhere. That's good. We'll make it a screaming face. Well, let's find our h, k, and p. Actually, you find the h, k, and p, and then you tell me what direction the parabola is going to open up in and why. What's your h? 13. What's your k? 2. So hk would be the vertex, 13, comma 2. What is your p? Again, another negative 1/8. Remember, 4p is the coefficient of the linear side. So if you set 4p equal to negative 1/2, divide both sides by 4. Sorry that we saw the same number again. You get p to be negative 1/8. So square is in the y, p is negative. What direction is it going to open in? Squares in the y makes it what type of parabola? I didn't hear you. Yes, it's a horizontal parabola. Since p is negative, that makes it to the left. So the graph, this is all we get to see because I didn't do my axes correctly. Sorry about that. Find the equation of a circle in standard form where boom and boom